Alright guys, I'm going to try to keep this quick because I was floundering on the previous attempt. So, I'm going to try to do the Eratosthenes in a more modern take. Eratosthenes did it in Egypt, and he did it by making someone walk full distance, and he did it down a well. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to have modern details, that way I can do it on the computer and I can do it in CAD. So, I was going to basically show you that I decided to use United States because most flat earthers are in the United States, and I figured that St. Louis and New Orleans were pretty much directly over the top of each other on the same line on the actual map. And so what I figured I would do is I would double check the distance. So I've got here St. Louis to New Orleans International Airport. I've got 604 miles, 971 kilometers. So that helps me that because I do everything kilometers, and I figured that I would go and use a slightly different sun tracking website, so that I wasn't biased by the previous use of the time and date website. So as you can see here on the St. Louis thing here, I've plugged in the 21st of June, which is the summer solstice, and what it's done is it's basically told me that the midpoint of the day is at 1 o'clock, 2 minutes past 1, and so I've pegged this timer to 2 minutes past 1, and down here you can see the longitude is it's 90 degrees west, so these towns seem to be about 90 degrees west of London, and the altitude is 74.84, and if I go out there and peg the New Orleans location, the altitude for that one is 83.47 degrees. So I have got a fresh drawing on this side here. I've just put in some basis material, and so that's basically all empty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start building. I'm going to do the flat earth map first, try to find out how high the sun is according to these two particular towns. I'm going to triangulate where the sun strikes, and then once I finish that, I will go on and I will use those two angles. I will sort of form them towards like a center radius point, just put in any old circle and then expand that circle until the distance is smack bang on correct to what the website is supposed to be telling me, and then I'll see what radius it actually gives me for a globe. So I'm going to set it into fast motion now, and I'm going to start installing most of the heights and angles and see what I come to first. Flat earth first. Okay, so back to normal speed now. So when you look at this, I don't know why this has gone to 972, even though it measures as 971. Something really weird happening there. I don't know why. Either way, it's 972, right? And at 74.82 degrees in St. Louis and 83.51 degrees in New Orleans, if you triangulate straight up to the sun on the flat earth, you should get 6,162 kilometers in height. So that's how high it should be. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy these two lines and use them to be able to find the center of what would be the Earth. So I'm going to go back into fast speed again. Okay, so what I've done here is I've merely made these pink lines 10,000 long, and that's pretty much all I've actually done. So this circle is no way representative of what the actual diameter is. So what I've got here is I've got the curved dimension between these two particular cities at this particular radius height is basically 1,516. So my target width that I want here is 972 kilometers. Divide that by 1,516. Right, so I've got to reduce it 0.64116. So as you can see, 972. So I reduced it by, in scale, down to 0.61%. So basically 61% of what it was. And what I have now is I've got 972 kilometers in distance, which is representative of what this particular distance was here. And when I go to, as you can see here, this is now not representative of 10,000 kilometers. So what I will do is I will find out what the distance radius wise is of here, and I will do the diameter here and find out what result I got. So according to this, if I crunch this to the correct scale, I got a radius of 6,412 kilometers, and I have a diameter of 12,824 kilometers. So let me just double check what the website says. Okay, so pole to pole distance, which is basically the direction I've been doing because I've been going north to south, is 12,713 kilometers in distance, and I got a result of 12,824 kilometers in distance. And let me double check what the pole radius. So 6,357, and I got 6,412. So it seems that the circle that I've got is a little bit bigger than what is represented by other people who have obviously gone and studied this sort of stuff. So yeah, so the radius here is pretty darn close. I might even find out what the percentage is. So let me just find out what the percentage is. So what I want to do is I want what the true distance is supposed to be. So 6,357, and divide that by 6,412. It's 0.99. 14%. What I want to do is I want to read it round backwards actually. So 6412 divided by 6357. It's just 1%. As you can see, that 0.08 is supposed to round into that. So basically it's 1% out. So yeah, so this calculation, based on the heights derived by this particular website and based on the distance of two aeroplanes going from St. Louis Lambert Airport to Louis Armstrong in New Orleans Airport of 971 kilometers, it's given me a distance that is 1% out from what Google says is the actual radius. So that's part one, where I want to find out what the actual radius was. What I want to do next is I want to go on to figure out if I can figure out how far away the moon is with these sorts of figures. And that should be part two.